And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I'm Gary Kaltbaum, your host. Hey, thanks for being with us today. Glad you're here, ladies and gentlemen. Happy that you are listening. It would be May 1. It's Thursday, 2025, emanating from New York City. So if you hear sirens, that means I got news for you. I have an apartment in New York City. At any time of the night, the sirens blare and you're up. Part of the process, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're having a good day. I want to thank Delta for getting me up to New York safely last night. They have become such a great airline in the last so-and-so amount of years. That's all I can tell you. Really, really good. Okay. Lots to cover. I was thinking today, we've rallied up, and I was just thinking today, what would you want answered today? What are the things that are sticking out that you would want answered? And I realize I know what those things are. And how I know? Your emails. And what's interesting is it's usually the same big names in the markets. And of course, we had a couple of doozies overnight in Microsoft and Facebook, or Meta. I still don't know why these companies change their names. After the close is Amazon and Apple. We got Tesla. Their numbers were terrible. We got Google, and their numbers were pretty decent, but the stock has done nothing since. What else? Broadcom, yeah, they're a little bit later on. NVIDIA reported way back. So we'll get into that. But first, if you do not get this radio show in your city, we'll post it at GaryK.com. We'll also post it on our Twitter feed, which is now X. And if you don't follow us on X, you should. And if you'd like to email us, just be nice. I was on the Big Money Show today on Fox Business. It's a 1-hour show, 5 of us discussing different things. And one of the things that was brought up, as always, is the president and the tariffs and this and that. And I said my usual, I am against tariffs. I'm not a tariff guy. And it's interesting how the markets agree. Whenever they put on big tariffs, the market got slaughtered. Once they pulled them off or said something to the effect of pause, which we're on now, markets had rallied. And, we've tried to communicate with the administration on them, but we know we would fall on deaf ears because, hey, listen, the president is hard-nosed. And by the way, that's not a put-down. He believes in what he believes. He has his own convictions. More power to that. But we are in hopes they get away from that, and he recognizes that the market's going down and not a good thing. So we got some emails on that today. I got one email from a person saying, well, you're harsh on radio, but you weren't very harsh on TV. I'm not so sure what that means. Except to say, we said we were against the tariffs, and we're not tariff people. What else do you want us to say? Anyway, to each his own. You know where we stand, with no agenda, ulterior motive, or bias. So let's start off with the market today, and I'm going to give you the weird. There have been days recently where the market ramped into the close. I will tell you today, the market dropped over 200 points in the last 6 or 7 minutes. 200 Dow points in the last 6 or 7 minutes. I don't know if it's a big deal or not, but when you're up 300 at 350, and you finish up 83, a little sell down at the close. The NASDAQ had a strong 264-point move to the upside today. NASDAQ 100, 215. But I will say to you, and again, not a big deal, the NASDAQ was up about almost 500 today. So a little distribution there, but I wouldn't call it a big deal. And I wouldn't call it a big deal because you've had a pretty good move up since that higher low. And you know what we mean by a higher low, right? We had the crash low, we rallied up, we pulled back and never went back to the crash low. And that was last Tuesday, and we've rallied up. Yesterday we had a horrible open, reversed. So I wouldn't call it a big deal. What I would say is, I wouldn't be surprised if we threw a little pullback here. And frankly, we wouldn't mind pullbacks here. It sets things up better to go higher. And we'll await Amazon and Apple. We got Amazon. It's down $8 in the aftermarket, but only down $2.50 on the day because it was up nicely. And we were waiting Apple, and that'll come out in a little bit. But what I do want to talk about is Microsoft and Facebook, or Meta. Let's start with Meta. Good numbers, but a little deceleration in sales. I did not like the action in the stock today. Not bearish, but I'm definitely not bullish on the stock. Just let you know. Why do we say that? Well, because they opened it up today at 593 and closed at 572. Simple as that. They distributed the stock. Distribution means selling by institutions. On top of that, I'm not going to use the word failed, but it got sold off in and around that 50-day moving average. So for me right now, Meta is an absolute non-starter for me. Would not be a buyer of it. Let me take that back. I'm not going to be a buyer of it. As always, we let you decide. Microsoft. Good old dependable Microsoft, which pretty much have been growing in the teens for quite a while, and you had a little acceleration. They did 10, 10, 10, and we just did an 18. Sales 15, 16, 12, 13. So dependable. The stock, like everything else, was smoked. 448 down to 350. And recent past, on that higher low, went from 360, closed yesterday, let's call it 396. Finished up $30 today. Very good move. Though, at what point today? It was only up 41. So not that bad. It's a win. But we do want to let you know, Microsoft has now gapped into what we call massive overhead resistance. And if you go look, forget what we have to say, just go look. And you will see between 430 and 468 the high, lots of resistance there. So, opinion. Probably going to do a little dipsy doodle in here, backing and filling and backing. And I have to tell you, I've made money in the stock in the past. I love the company. And what we're going to hopefully look for is what we call a secondary buy point. And what that simply means, it gaps up and sits around and hangs out and then turns up and moves above the gap point. That's what we're going to be looking for. Does it mean it's going to happen? No. It's things we just look for. And of course, if Microsoft keeps going up, it is I think, number 2 on the NASDAQ 100 and the S&P 500 in influence and in size. So we're going to be watching that closely. But something else happened with Microsoft you needed to know. And Meta, things they said. They talked about CapEx, capital expenditures, how much they're going to be spending on things going forward. And they put out some pretty darn good numbers. going forward. Does that mean they're going to spend it? No, but they still stated it. We'll buy into it. And what happened? Do you remember we've been telling you that all the artificial intelligence stocks have been the bear market? Well, those artificial intelligence stocks had been bouncing up with the rest of the market. Up next, what did they do today? And much more. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. So we've had a pretty big bear market in artificial intelligence stocks, and as you know, all the analysts are out saying, don't worry, everything's okay, everything's fine. Keep buying, and of course some of them dropped 50%. Some artificial intelligence stocks dropped over 50% since January. Yet they kept telling you, just buy, don't worry. Everything's fine. While we're telling you, why don't you wait till they show some bottoming? And what that simply means is they stop going down and they start turning up. And they start putting some stair steps to the upside, and we start identifying that on the up days, volume's heavy, on the down days, volume's lighter, indicating institutions are maybe getting involved again. But no, they kept saying just buy, and a bunch of them dropped 50 some odd percent. I'll just give you one instant. VRT, Vertiv. The stock went from 155, you ready for this one? To 67. Well, it's been rallying up because the market's been rallying up. It's back to 93. Still down from 155, and they're still telling you to buy it. It's a data center company. We're just letting you know that a lot of these names broke back above that big declining 50-day moving average in the last day or so, and especially today. Does that mean they don't just turn right back down? No. Does that mean they keep going? Don't know. We're just letting you know that technically, in order for things to get better, things have to get better. Duh. And part of that has to be getting back above the 50-day moving average and sticking. Simple as that. And sticking. So the first step may have occurred. There is no rule that it doesn't just turn right back down tomorrow. But from the mouth and mouths of Meta and Microsoft was the talk of CapEx and talking up of artificial intelligence. So just letting you know better, we'll stay on top of it. Just letting you know, turning up. Other areas doing the same. The energy stocks. You know those energy companies. Symbol CEG, one of them. Up 70 today. Just turning up. Still way down from the highs. GEV, which is stronger than the rest. NRG reports, I believe, after the close today. And VST. Now, we are not telling you to buy them, sell them, short them, or cover them. We're letting you know what they are doing. Simple as that. Update on the aftermarket. Amazon hit 180. Down about, it was down about 10. Now it's only down about 3.5 in the aftermarket. So the NASDAQ 100, which started to head lower, down a little bit in the aftermarket, but no big deal. Still waiting on Apple. I am seeing some other movers in the aftermarket that are of import. Duolingo, symbol DUOL, up 26 bucks to 426. Twilio closed at 98, 106 in the aftermarket. Reddit, that thing got bombed, up 20 bucks in the aftermarket, $19 in the aftermarket to 138 on their numbers. But then XYZ, they changed their name twice. They're called Block. Used to be Square. Closed at 58, I got it at 49. How about symbol Team, a software company? Closed at 229, ouch, 194. That ain't no hill for a climber. Airbnb reports, down 4 bucks to 120, but that stock's been trashed. A lot of trashing as of recent. And what do we do now? Just letting you know how we work, in case you did not know. 2 hours earlier, 2 hours later, we're going through earnings reports from the night before, seeing where they're opening in the morning, seeing the new earnings reports in the morning, going through them, and basically, again, where are things opening in relation to where the stocks are? What were the earnings? What were the sales? Were they good, not so good? Is there sympathy moves? As we said, there were sympathy moves in the AI stocks because of what Microsoft and Meta said. And then after the close, same thing. So we're already writing down names right now because we're in the midst of earnings season. It's a pain in the butt, but I must tell you, it's where you find greatness from and where you find crap from. It's as simplistic as that. From the earnings season, and we used to listen to conference calls, not as often. Why? You ever hear a CEO say anything bad about their company in a conference call? It's always light at the end of the tunnel, even if things are bad. It's always everything good. Yeah, we had to lower our numbers, but, and we used to have CEOs on this show, but the same thing. We would have loved one to come on and say, well, things suck. That doesn't happen. So that's the goal around earnings season. That's why we said, so Microsoft, we're looking for a real good setup going forward. And maybe it will, maybe it won't. Don't know. But we love big liquid names. We made a lot of money in the past on big liquid names. So stay tuned. We'll let you know. Pay attention. It's been quite the last 4 or 5 weeks. And I think, in case I haven't said it to you, April pretty much goes down as the craziest month I have ever been in. Seriously. Up next, why was it the craziest month? And much more. This is the one only Investor's Edge. By the way, hey, welcome once again to Investor's Edge. When I can see things in real time, it is amazing to me the influence that just a few names have on the market. I just watched Amazon go from 190 to 180 in the aftermarket, and watch the NASDAQ 100, the QQQ, dump. But then Amazon bounces a little bit. It's 185 right now. Guess what the NASDAQ 100 does? It's amazing. And I must tell you, part of this recent, it wasn't a bloodbath, but drop in the market was headed by 8 or 9 stocks. You have to remember these 8 or 9 stocks, 30 some odd percent of the S&P, which is much worse than 50 some odd percent of the NASDAQ 100. Just remember, those are 100 stocks. So you can have 8 or 9 stocks that are 55% NASDAQ 100, 91 or 92 stocks, 45%. But then you get the S&P 500. 8 stocks, 30 some odd percent. 492 stocks. Catching my drift? I gather the world had better never see all of them go into bear markets. And the good news is Netflix bullish, Microsoft with the big gap, Meta, though not that great, but had a big gap today. Nvidia, well, still weak. Let's just say none of them are getting trashed right now. We'll keep watch. You have to remember what tore the house down in the year 2000 was that concentration, and they all got clonked and kept getting clonked. So we'll certainly be paying attention to them. And just so you know, as I've been saying, it's not about their numbers. It's about the concentration. Institutions have so much of these stocks. Tons. Absolute tons. That when things go awry, oh, they're selling. Oh, they're selling. So we're going to stay on top of that because, man, oh, man, we have studied 99, 2000, 2001, 2002. We're not saying we're in any way, shape, or form in that. But we have studied history. It's in the study of history and bull and bear markets that keeps us, at least we believe, in better stead than most. And recently, all these stocks were in definable downtrend. And by the way, still are, except for Microsoft and Netflix. So stay tuned. Hear the sirens, New York City. We will stay on top of it. Just be smart. Stay careful. Markets aren't easy. Gold, we had stated we thought a top was near. We even told you that Barron's front cover was Gold Rush. It's still breaking. The GLD, which represents gold, was down $6 and change today. It has now gone from 317 to 297, which, by the way, is no big deal. We still think gold is in an overall bull market with a near-term downtrend. That's all as of now. We'll keep you up to date on that. Same for the gold miners. Now, I want to get back to the artificial intelligence thing. When it was going down, our emails would be very skeptical of us. And we try to explain, we're just telling you what the stocks are doing. We do not know what the outcome is going to be on artificial intelligence. No idea. And I got news for you. The people that are spending all those bucks, I'm pretty sure they're not sure. I'm pretty sure they're not sure what their return on investment is going to be. But the emails we're getting were obviously from people that were in those stocks. And all we were saying was the stocks are in a bearish trend. Well, I'm now letting you all know they may have, not 100%, turned the corner. Now, some of the things Microsoft and Meta said on the earnings call, they had already said before. But this time, since the market's better, they caught. And we'll see where they go. And this goes for the energy stocks, data centers, even some of the construction stocks. You know, the ones that say they're going to build the data centers. Symbol Fix, for example, or EME. And then there's some software names too. I'm still quite dubious of all the numbers being thrown about, but that's a guess on my part. I've never trusted big numbers. I feel like a lot of these companies are trying to curry favor with the new administration. When I add up some of the numbers, they just don't seem to make any sense whatsoever. But it's a guess. And we'll just keep paying attention. We'll see how it plays out. We're all for it. I must tell you, we've done a decent dive on AI. I haven't even used it. I'm told I have to use ChatGPT. I will. Just haven't as of yet. I'm being told that Google/Alphabet is in trouble because of it. We'll see. Don't know. Your guess is good as mine. On the other end of import, we'll stay away from the bad reactions. Qualcomm today, down $12. Guess what? We stay away. Anything that gaps down, lowers guidance to that effect, see ya. Why? Because we want to invest in greatness, not bad. I got a bunch of things on Eli Lilly today. In case you don't know, it was down $105 today. Eli Lilly down $105 today. How can that be? Aren't they selling a ton of the obesity stuff? All I can tell you, they issued below estimate guidance. And you're usually going to get sold down. Eli Lilly, to me, at this juncture, just like United Health, I just stay away. Why? Eli Lilly went from $935 to $677 to $900, and today down $104 to under $800 in 7 weeks. No, thank you. United Health went from, let's see, $630 to $438 to $600 down to $400. By the way, new yearly low. I typically stay away from wildness. And when companies get a reputation of that, see ya. Up next, Apple. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. By the way, a big thank you to Mr. Adam Sarhan for helping out whenever I need. He's one of those great men that is always there when you need him in a pinch. And we always thank him for that. Great family, too. Okay. Apple down $4 in the aftermarket, about $4.40. And, of course, all this can change. You do know what happens. They do conference calls and everything's great, everything's good. All I can tell you, Apple came in with earnings, and I will tell you single digits earnings year over year. Single digits year over year in sales also. And the stock's been weak, and if nothing changes as I speak, we'll open up a little bit to the downside tomorrow. So we had two BAFO reactions in Microsoft and Meta, the two M's. The two A's as of this second, both down. I got Amazon down about 6 in the aftermarket, and Apple down 3 and change. Whoopie-doo. But believe it or not, every dollar with these stocks matter big time. The good news is there's no big blow-ups. What we didn't want to see is like a 7% drop and things like that. Apple's been in a pretty good downtrend, rallied off the crash lows, still below the 50-day moving average. Amazon, same thing. Same thing on Amazon. Back in D.C., a few things of note. Mike Waltz went from NSA and now he's going to be an ambassador. Mike Waltz was the District 6, just north of where I live in Florida. He was in the House, and the president moved him. He was the gentleman that, I guess that whole Signal thing in the app, I don't know why they move him from one place to the next, beats the heck out of me. That move happened today. Doubt it moves any needles. I think he's a good guy. I think he's works hard. And looks like they said mistakes were made, and hopefully they don't make those mistakes going forward. And I do believe he came out and said, it's on me. To me, that's a man's man. Just like, I'm not going to say who, but somebody went on TV the other day and talked about his losses. And I emailed him. And I said, you're a man's man. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Because most people that go on Tube never talk about their losses. Especially the perma bulls that have been crushed this year before the rally off the crash lows. Things that I'm hearing. This talk, we're in this pause now. The pause that saved the markets. The pause that stopped the crash from continuing down. That pause. Just kind of sort of hearing. Kind of sort of. That's not coming back. It's going to stay paused. And for obvious reasons. I gather the president doesn't want his poll numbers to worsen. I'm sure you've seen his poll numbers. We're not hiding that. You shouldn't hide it either. They're bad. They're darn bad. I believe it's the worst at this time in a very long while, if not the worst. And it's all because of not just the tariffs, but the movement, the continuing change. Even today, what's the guy's name? Hassett came out, we're going to have an announcement later today on tariffs. Stop. They obviously aren't listening to me. Just stop. Enough. Please. So I'm pretty sure that's going to go by the wayside. That's good news. We're also seeing more exemptions, especially on the auto front. And boy, oh boy, that needs to get done. We're also hearing that the U.S. has reached out to China. We were playing like the big dog and we're with the big strength. And we're going to wait for China. No, we're hearing now that we reached out to them. And I must tell you, fine. We don't have to look bigger or stronger than them or vice versa. Let's just get it done. And I can promise you, if something gets done, and whatever trade deals that get done, terrific. Whatever they may be, terrific. If we can just get past that and then make the tax cuts permanent, get rid of some of these onerous regulations, keep working on the size and scope and the reach of government to do better for the private sector, I think the potential is unlimited. And we tell you why. The people of this country are hardworking, all want to do better for themselves and their family. The medical advancements and the technological breakthroughs have been magnificent. Very tough to stop that. And I still remember the words of John Templeton, and I'm paraphrasing to the effect of, if you believe in the progress of the United States as well as human civilization, you got to bet on markets longer term. And he said that, by the way, like 30 years ago, and boy, was he right. Darn good right. So we are in hopes. Our little mantra of keep taxes low, less regulations, get close to balanced budgets, and just get the heck out of the way, they listen. Would be nice. Hey, that all said, we'll see what tomorrow brings. Apple and Amazon down. Tomorrow's another day. You have a great evening. Drive carefully. And when you get home, do like we do. Quite simple. Make sure you hug your family. Make sure you hug your children. They will feel better. You will feel better. I promise. Stay well. Be well. Serenity now. Have a good night, everybody. Bye-bye.